This is the reality for most off-roaders. Sadly, the office car park is about as far off-road as their knobbly tyres ever get to venture.
But there are those lucky 4x4s that get to play in the mud. All sorts of people regularly use their off-roader to off-road. And even to those whose piece of urban macho machinery is little more than an alternative to the tube or bus, they want to know that should things get sticky, their cars can hack it.
Which means today's 4x4s have to be regular James Bonds if they're going to be tough enough to tackle the rough stuff and sophisticated enough not to drop a clanger in the city.
Which is why we're sitting in a field.
With a desk.
And wellies.
And a suit.
Because today we're going to be looking at the twin personalities of these cars.
First up, we've got the good old Jeep Cherokee, as much a piece of off-road designer-badged American heritage as it is a car.
And the clever Toyota Colorado, big Japanese and Japanese, well, it's just big really.
And finally, the new Pretender, the Audi Allroad. They reckon it redefines the class. A real James Bond. Well, we'll see. The Land Cruiser's been around in one form or another for nearly 50 years, and many people reckon it's still a proper off-roader. Should be all right out here, then. The Colorado fits in below its bigger, heavier and more expensive sibling, the Amazon, and competes with the likes of the Land Rover Discovery and Mitsubishi Shogun, the real heavyweights. This particular Colorado is powered by a 3-litre turbo diesel. Ooh, good and big engine, but it only puts out a measly 100 brake horsepower. But the good news is there's loads and loads of torque, which is exactly what you need in an off-roader to give you that climb every mountain, chew through the mud kind of feel. And that is what you get in the Colorado. It does feel like a real big grown-up off-roader. There's no particularly good news when it comes to getting away quickly either. It takes 14 seconds to hit 60, and it's all over at 99 miles an hour.
But of course, while the Toyota can claim to have been around for 50 years, the Cherokee is hardly lacking in pedigree. It is, after all, a descendant, albeit a distant one, of the original off-roader, the World War II Willys Jeep. Hammond, get in.
You drive, eh? I'll just get in the back.
Mind you, the Willys could be carried across a field by 4 men. Things have moved on a little since then, and the Jeep has put on quite a few pounds in every sense. Now, off-road, this Jeep is coping with everything I'm throwing at it so far, but because of the risk of getting stuck and the risk of Hammond taking the mickey big time, I'm being a bit gentle. Now, this course is very, very slippy, but provided you've got it in low ratio gearbox, this Jeep seems to be doing very well. I like it. The 4-litre petrol unit in this Cherokee puts the Toyota to shame with a whopping 176 brake horsepower, enough to get this big Jeep from 0 to 60 in under 10 seconds and carry on to a top speed of 112 miles per hour. Although you will pay the price for a heavy right foot, don't expect any more than 20 miles per gallon at the pump. But of course there's also money to consider. The Jeep is the cheapest at just under £21,000. Then the Toyota at just less than £4,000 more. That comes in at just less than £25,000.
And then there's the newcomer, the Audi. This petrol engine version costs around £12,000 more than the Colorado at over £36,000.
So, lest we bin it before we've driven it, consider this.
Yes, some interesting facts. The £16,000 difference between the Cherokee and the Allroad would buy 5,000 gallons of unleaded at 80 pence a litre, enough to keep you and your Cherokee in fuel for about 100,000 miles.
Statistics aside, that's not what the Allroad is about. We're talking about its off-road ability without the compromises. Let's see if it lives up to it.
OK, now hold on tight in the back. Ready for the ride of your life. I'm going to be rather careful. Of course, the first thing we've had to do in the Audi is adjust the suspension onto its highest setting. We don't want to go in our road mode, we want to go in our off-road mode. Setting number 3, up at the top. And in fact, what this lacks in ground clearance and sheer grunt, it hopefully is going to make up for in sophisticated gizmos to keep the wheels spinning under all circumstances, as they are now, before you say anything. So with a bit of luck, we won't get stuck. Thanks not to brute force or anything so macho as that, but to sophisticated technology and a lot of money. If you're interested in the engine, it's a 2.7 litre petrol and it's drinking fuel even as we speak faster than you can put stuff in. The result is, though, an awful lot of performance. And it is, I think, remarkably capable off-road. What do you reckon?
Because of the more than adequate ground clearance of this Audi, the truth is it is very capable off-road. But let's face it, you've got £37,000 worth of leather and walnut. You are not going to be giving it the stick that Richard currently is. Let's face it, the closest this is going to get to off-road is probably the Silverstone car park.
Ooh, well, straight away, this is an entirely different ballgame on the road. You can definitely feel the Audi A6's road-going heritage here. It's interesting to think that at 2.7 litres, it's the smallest engined of the three, but it feels by far and away the most powerful, just because of the way it puts that engine power down. Right, I'll be pros.
And I'll be cons.
OK, the Jeep. I think it's good value for money, it looks great, and it's reasonable off-road and not too bad on the road.
But I think it's a very old design. It looks boxy and the engine is unrefined. It sounds like it needs oil.
Then there's the Audi. When it comes to split personalities, you can't deny it's good on and off-road, and it does look great from every angle.
But therein lies the problem. It's a master of none and a jack of all trades and way overpriced.
The Toyota Colorado, well, it is a big, chunky off-roader, although it's not done too well today. It is a proper old-fashioned 4x4.
And it's got great cup holders and you can get a sheep in the back, but it's got all the sticking power of a Teflon pan. So, Richard, which one would you have?
I'd go for the Jeep. It's cheap, I like the off-road performance, and I like the style. You? What would you have?
If money was no object, it'd be the Audi. Can I phone a friend?
You got a friend?
I haven't got any.